and it's tournament day. I'm going to the lab, and I'm going to be playing pure witch cult today. That's right, all the witches, all the time. Let's see how I do into a crazy, tough meta.
The Dark Kid.
So, as you know here at SkaredCast, me, Skari, your grateful host, like to test, innovate, try, and do a variety of different things that just push the boundaries of what's possible with Drukhari. Well, not just Drukhari. I also play Black Templars and a bunch of different stuff. But a lot of these trophies, okay, that's right, I just need to show them off, come from just playing the game the way that I like to play, with a positive attitude and innovative and solving problems, which is what excites me the most about the game. Taking something that's terrible and all considered bad and making it work for me. Now, this is a cool thing. This is probably one of the last videos I'll be doing from this studio here because I'm going to be moving house and I'm going to be moving the studio into like a smaller space. So I thought, why not? Let's take the witches out for a spin in a tournament. So this is going to be a tournament review. First, I'm going to go over the witch list that I'm going to be using. And by witch list, I mean the list of witches. And then we're going to go through the games that I play at the event, how I did, how I would change the list, and if it has any merit as a concept. So one of the things I like to do is, before I build a list, I like to visualize all of the models and things that I have in the list itself. So I grabbed all of my witch cult models, I put them out on the table, and I essentially developed a list based on the fact that I own those models. Now, painting is not a requirement at this event, which did open up a couple more sort of like things that I could use potentially, simply because of the fact that I wanted to try a couple of things I haven't tried before. I'm feeling a little bit more excited about it. And then, of course, once I've done that, I set up the army and I kind of see, okay, well, what is it going to be? And then let's take a look at sort of like the combination of units that I chose to take today. And here we have it. 2,000 points of Witch Cult. Now, I decided to run Witch Cult of Strife. Why? Because you get access to some really cool stratagems. It also gives you access to Lilith Hesperax. I'm running the old Finecast Lilith Hesperax model that I put on a bigger base, and it's a little bit weird, but that just means she's about the same height as the new model. Yeah, so that's kind of like my Lilith. She's like, I'm really excited about using her again. I have a second succubus and then a third succubus. This is essentially a triple patrol list. So I can have lots of fast attacks. I get to use the raiding force. So you have multiple patrols. They're worth 0 command points and all that good stuff. Warlord is going to be Lilith. She has Blood Dancer as her warlord trait. So exploding 6s, and then her blades give her exploding 6s. She's just like a little machine of murdering like characters and infantry, which is really cool. In the second slot, I've got the traditional competitive edge and triptych whip succubus. Now, because Lilith is a master, I cannot make her a show stealer, but hopefully she'll just jump in and murder anything she touches. And then the third succubus, I decided to run with the Dark Lotus Toxin with a Shardnet and Impaler and precision strikes. So her Shardnet and Impaler becomes 3 damage, and every 6 to hit will do the damage of the weapon in mortal wounds. So with 7 attacks on the charge, if she jumps in, a couple of 6s, she'll do 6, 9, 12 mortal wounds if I spike the roll. So she's my little mortal wound creator, which I think is going to be a really fun mechanic to try. And on the succubuses, I've picked Adrenaline +1 attack on the charge. In the troop slots, I decided to go for a big unit of 10 Blood Brides with a Shardnet and Impaler and Hydra Gauntlets. Then in the second patrol, I have 10 just witches with a Shardnet Impaler and Hydra Gauntlets. And then the third patrol, I have 2 units of 5 witches with a blast pistol in each one. And they're just 5 strong. The combat drug I've picked for all the witches is +1 strength, so they become strength 4. In one of the patrols, I have a Beast Pack Master with the Splinter Mind, so +1 ballistic skill, +1 leadership. But that's because I gave this Beastmaster my free relic, the Animus Vitae, which is the grenade, If it gets to throw it, then adds +1 to the power from pain. So it gives a threat for a turn 1 advance and charge if my opponent gets too aggressive early on. Of course, some mandrakes. Why? Because they are awesome. And I love them to do actions, to forward deploy, to help me in specific missions. They're just a really good toolkit unit. Then we have the meat and potato of the lists. And by meat and potatoes, I mean 2 units of 8 Hellions. I find Hellions at 8 strong are probably the best size. They kill whatever you need them to kill, and they're durable enough to take a little bit of punishment. I did give them the +1 strength combat drug to make sure they're strength 5, potentially up to strength 6, when using a hyperstim backlash, which really helps against some bigger, tougher stuff like Custodes, warriors, that sort of thing. And then 2 units of 9 Reaver jet bikes. This unit here has 3 heat lances and 3 grav talons for some anti-tank and mortal wound. I've decided to roll for their combat drugs because you get 2 effects, and I feel like every single effect is really good on bikes. So it's going to be able to mix and match, potentially give me some really cool combos. A bit of a gamble, but I think it'd be really cool. I'm already playing a gambly army anyway, so I might as well gamble with the drugs on the Reaver jet bikes. This is the second unit of Reaver jet bikes. It's not painted yet. However, I wanted to show off all the cool conversions that I did because this is a fully kit-bashed converted unit, and I cannot wait to paint it. These jet bikes in the back are not really that kit-bashed, just a couple of scourge heads in there to make them look cool. Got some bases and whatnot. They look really neat. But these 3, oh boy, look at them. That is a kit-bashed Reaver jet bike with bits from a Talos and like Reaver jet bike bits and a whole bunch of stuff. And, that's really, really cool. Just wanted to show them off because I've had a lot of fun creating and converting these jet bikes. Yeah, they're going to be painted and awesome. There you have it. That's 2,000 points of... Oh, and then to round it off, 2 Raiders and 2 Venoms. I decided to use my Witch Cult Venoms with the little pilots visible. So they're legitimately the Witch Cult Venoms. Before I completely forget, my Razorwing Flux. I did take 2 of them. So 1 unit of 5, 1 unit of 4. Anybody who knows, who has seen me use them before, knows I love using them for screens, tying things up, and putting them in front of my army so they soak up all of the mortal wounds. That's 20 wounds. That's 16 wounds worth of mortal wounds that those units can soak up from a Maliceptor or 1,000 Suns or something like that. It just keeps at least 2 turns worth of mortal wound shenanigans far away, or can be in the backboard and zone while the rest of my army moves up aggressively. 2,000 points. Ooh, let's take a look at, let's go to the event now. Have some fun there. And here we are at the lab, having some fun. Everybody's playing today. It's gonna be a good time. I get to play Chris and the Sisters of Battle, which is gonna be really fun. And yeah, other than that, let's do this. I'm excited. First game of the day. Ah, that's Conrad. That's right. He hasn't come out. He lives in a cave. And then, of course,
Cool. What? Hi.
make sure you check out the Stutter Scrub podcast.
Stutter Scrub.
It's a garbage can with guns.
Gun show.
Round 1, it is player optimized terrain, so we went back and forth putting terrain down. I decided to take for secondaries, I took Retrieve Nachmund. I took To the Lost, which is an interesting choice, but I want to test it. It's all about testing. And I took, technically this is a buy, so I'm going to win this game regardless. However, I'm just going to test things.
Wow. Ouch.
Ouch. No, so we're playing for keeps, because Chris and I always have like some tight games, and he's like,
Can't backpedal now.
hey, this is my show. I can backpedal all I want.
The brand new Labyrinth dice.
I like it.
Yeah.
They rolled a 1 and a 3, and then I rolled less. They actually roll better than my dice, I guess. Yeah. So I've got the 9 jet bikes, just a squad of 5 and a Venom. I've got my Blood Brides with the competitive edge, 5 more witches with the Shardnet and Impaler, Hellions, Lilith, and the 10 witches are over here. And then I put 2 units of 5 birds out. The 2 units of birds out front to screen. Because Chris took mental interrogation, I spent a CP to strategic reserve my Beast Pack Master, because there's an Inquisitor over there trying to interrogate me. And I'm hiding all my characters.
However, Chris has to go first, so yeah, wish me luck, and we'll come back at the end of the game. Well, it was a very interesting game. I overcommitted turn 1. I failed a 5-inch charge with a reroll, or a 4-inch. I need to roll a 4. I rolled a 3, and then I rolled Snake Eyes with a reroll for the witches, and then got killed. That meant that I had just enough not models left for the end of the game. So at the end of the game, it was 58 to 85 for the sisters. I did a couple of mistakes. I overcommitted quite a few of the models. With pylons and consolidates, I need to get better at, well, with practice, that's the thing. You practice, you do stuff. So it is a buy. So I technically did win, but it was a loss. So I will be moving forward. However, it was a fantastic testing game. These mortifiers with the heavy flamers and their ability to just come in and they were very hard for me to deal. It's like a little unit of dreadnoughts, and Drukhari already have a hard time with dreadnoughts. I don't really have enough anti-tank in the list. Now, I had decided to take to the last this game, which was 2 of my units of Reaver jet bikes and the Blood Brides. That was more of an experiment to see if it was even possible to really take that in this list, because I knew that whatever happened, I was going to get my 80 points. I found out that that's not a good choice. I should have taken Take Them Alive. So killing units in close combat gives me a point. Killing characters in close combat gives me 3 points. And I've taken that before, and I really like it. And I think with the witches, I really want to leverage the killing, because I killed more of a Vol in combat. I killed units in combat. I would have actually gotten a lot more points than a 0 onto the last, because I had to use my jet bikes aggressively. I had to use my Blood Brides aggressively in the trade war. Other than that, man, the little witch units hit really hard, but they're very fragile. So I have to be very careful with how I commit them. So great start to the day. Let's move on to round number 2. It's the middle of round number 2. I'm playing Eldar. An Eldritch Storm is just about to go out to try and take out Lilith and them. But other than that, it's been a fun game. I'll come back with more information at the end, because we're in the middle, we're timed, all that good stuff, which means that we're just having a good time. Lots of warp spiders, lots of shuriken, Reaver jet bikes everywhere. It's an absolute blast so far. Okay, so wish me luck in this game. What a crazy game that I just had with Conrad. I had bottom of turn, which really helped, because at the end of the game, I was able to get my Lost Strangle. I was able to get hold more, and my Mandrakes got really cheeky and killed the last of these Swooping Hawks, which gave me basically swung it from a loss into a win in my favor at the end there. So I did win. It was 89 to 78, so there was some really good stuff. But holy moly, do Eldar shoot a lot. If you're not using Striking Scorpions or Swooping Hawks, War Spiders, sorry. If you're not using War Spiders and Dire Avengers and just auto-wounding on, man, the amount of dice you rolled. It was nuts.
I was at the point where I was just grabbing dice, throwing them, and throwing a second batch because it was taking too long. This one's you?
Yeah.
Who went first?
I did. No, he did. Other than that, there was one big turn where I basically boosted everything up and tagged a bunch of his things with Hellions, jet bikes, and my Blood Brides. And then the little Guardian unit that I was trying to hold in combat won the roll off and fell back, and then you just murdered everything. Once again, I overcommitted. I should have just sent one unit and maybe a character. But no, I got greedy. And I didn't. You made me pay for it. Okay, but I did take, for this game, I took Stranglehold, Take Them Alive, and Retrieve Nachmund. Take Them Alive is fantastic with Witch Cult. It's so good.
I couldn't stop it.
I just kill you in combat, I get points, which was great. You did deny me 1 point over here, and a few things there, 1 point over there, which would have maxed it, but I got 14 points. Can't wait to talk more about that secondary. It's fantastic. Okay, with that, on to round number 3. So last round, I get to play against Dark Harlequins and very own fellow Team Canada player Tim, who's playing Dark Harlequins. So this is going to be a fun match. It is Tide of Convergence, as you can see. And I get to go first, which already puts me at a big disadvantage into the Dark Harlequins. But with that, let's dive in. Let's see what I can do as we move into the game. But I've essentially I'm hiding. I put my Hellions into Strategic Reserve. But Tim's not going to overcommit, so he knows how to play this game. Let's see what the Witch Cult can do. As the dust is settled, the Dark Harlequins will take the win on this game. 48 points. Oh man, I got a slacking to 97. Yeah, that was pretty bad. All in all, I did have to go first, which is not good in this mission, in this matchup specifically. And there was a couple of things. I don't think I would have won this game. The trades just don't work in a list that has like combat on combat. When I kill him, he can still kill me back. So I'm always on the losing end of the trades on the Dark Harlequin. I did kill lots of characters, so I feel like your characters didn't do as much as they normally do. Flying over them with mortals and hitting them with grav talons. The solitaire just got to swing in death, you know, because the bikes went to get him behind his wall. They literally like flew around. They just went to go catch him. But that great game. I can't wait to break it down. Let's go back to the studio where we break down the results and what I thought. A couple of changes I'll make, so I'm really excited to share those with you. And here we are back at the studio after the event. So this was the list I took. And after a couple of games, 3 games, it's a decent amount of games to essentially take the list and potentially tweak it a little bit. These are things I don't want to change. I was able to get lots of secondary points, score things, and the units themselves did essentially what I really hoped them to do. The 3 HQs were fantastic. Lilith, the Mortal Wound, Chardonnay and Impaler, Dark Lotus Toxin, and the Competitive Edge Succubus. They all did great. They stay in the list. I had the 2 units of 8 Hellions. They're fantastic. They're the right size for a Hellion unit. They do just the right amount of damage, and they're just the right price for the unit, for the army. Oh yeah, the 6 Mandrakes, they got me so many points all tournament long, and I really liked having the big unit of 10 Blood Brides. Expensive, but very killy. The Beast Pack Master, essential to use the grenade, which was really awesome. Used it every single game. Gave me some good bonuses, and it does help, you know, here and or there. The 2 Raiders and the 2 Venoms also have to stay in the list. Without them, my witches would just get murdered. Let's take a look at stuff that needs to essentially change. So first we had the other troops in the army. I really liked having the 2 little 5-mans. However, I never used the blast pistols. So the blast pistols have to go. Then this big unit of 10 was very redundant having the Blood Bride unit. I kind of only really needed 1 big unit. So to be honest, I found that I was running out of units when needing to do trades and things like that. So essentially, I split that unit into 2 units of 5. So what this gives me is 4 more units of witches, essentially increasing more of small units doing actions, holding objectives, like objectives secured, denying objectives, and trading well into the enemy. I think that is a good change for the list. Then we had the 2 units of Reaver jet bikes. I really liked them, but 9 was too big. They were very, very expensive for what they did. It was almost 250 points, and every time I committed them, they just died. To the point where I feel like I can just take 3 bikes out of each of these units. So I lose one of the special weapons, I lose a Grav Talon, and 3 bikes to bring their cost down to 150 points each, which is about the cost of the Blood Brides, but it also means that I'm not spending almost like 500 points, a whole quarter of my army on 2 units that die just as fast as anything else in my army. There you have it. It is 2 more units of 6 bikes. So 2 units of 6 instead of 2 units of 9. Last but not least, looking at the birds, I did like them. They were really useful. However, I only ever really needed 1 unit, which means I can essentially drop this unit. You don't have to, but I did. Because I found that I only really needed that 1 unit to add 5 more witches. That essentially gives me another little troop unit to do more actions, to contest more objectives. And then by taking all of those points and saving them, I've been able to add something fun to the list. That's right, my Void Raven bomber makes it in. This time with 2 lances and the bomb. So I found that I needed something that could fly around and threaten things behind buildings, and dropping the bomb would help sort of spread my opponent out and force them to not concentrate their strength, therefore allowing my witches to do more damage. So there you have it, the revamped 2,000 point list after 3 test games at this tournament looks something like this. I feel that is definitely a lot more rounded and a lot more powerful. So let me know what you think down below. How would have you changed the list? How would you have played? And what did you like and or dislike about my process?
Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did come in 5th place after the tournament. It was an interesting experiment. I really enjoyed it. Now I get to go to more events and practice with the Coven, the Army of Renown. I have 150 wrecks that I'm going to be trying out. Excellent. I'm really excited about that. A huge shout out to all the channel Patreons, without whom none of this would be possible. Join the Denizen community today by following the link down below, join the Discord, get additional content, and help me make more videos like this. Thanks a lot to all of you. I'm Skari, your grateful host, signing off until next time. Skari out. Ah, the Darkin. Bye, everybody.